So we're gonna finish off our top 3 series with quads. So we're gonna be starting off with leg extensions. So for leg extensions, what I want you to do is hip width apart, toes pointed back at yourself, control the weight on the way down, come up, hold that flex for a count of 2. Down, up. And like I said, pick a weight that you can normally get 15, shut your brain off. Don't think 15, think I'm going until I can't. So you get 20, 25, you might even get 30, you don't know that. But that's what I find a lot of people do, they limit themselves with the thought of, my program says 10 to 12 or 12 to 15. Just go, just get in here and shut everything off. Shut that thought of, oh my God, this burns so bad. Just go until you can't. Controlling the weight is a big thing. So nice and slow on the way down. Come up, hold that flex for a couple. So if you point your toes away, what that does is it does put a little bit more pressure on the knee. And when your toes pointed back, it activates the front of your shin, which stabilizes the knee a bit more, but it actually helps the quad fire off a little bit more. All right, next exercise is leg press. So this is another exercise that your quads can take punishment. Tons of times that I've done 20, 30, 40 reps on this. Big thing is, same as the other one, you're gonna go somewhere where all the pressure is through that heel. So the biggest mistake I see a lot of people do is when they do this, you hear, the big thing you hear on social media now is on leg press, they want people to put their feet really, really kind of low and even close. I don't understand that, but close together, and they want that knee flexion. So I understand, but now all that pressure is on my toes. There is not one little iota on my heel. And that's where you want it. You want it on the heel. So I always tell people your heels should be hip width apart. Your toes are angled a little bit. And remember, your hips they're an open like bone structure. Your quads are connected to the hip, but your pelvis is open. It's not closed off. So when you do it, you want everything to travel in that motion, that it's open. You want your knees to travel where your toes are angled. So if my toes are angled at like a very slight 20 degrees, well, my knees should travel in that direction. It's pretty point blank. So in there is multitude of other ways. So this angle right here, it's more of like overall quad development. If I want to work on, say, glutes and hamstrings, I'm going to change up my feet on the pad. So when I come down, you notice that everything's traveling way out, and I am completely open in my groin, and there is a large stretch in my groin at this time. Still going through hips. Everything's the same, but it just changes the angle of where my knees, and now my knees are traveling out. If I wanted to work on outer quads, I'll bring everything in, everything nice and tight. But now, unfortunately, because now you're going to hit your body, your torso, and if you have bigger quads, it's going to really shorten up your range of motion. Because I can't physically come back further than this. For me to come back further than that, I have to almost break my ribs, and it's just not going to happen. If you're a smaller dude, yeah, you're going to have a lot more range. But for someone that is bigger and has like bigger legs, I hate to tell you, they're going to have to stop as soon as that quad hits that torso. It's done. There's no more room to go. So rep ranges for this. All depends on how heavy you're going. If you wanted to go to like moderate heavy, I'd be sticking that 15, 20, 25 rep range. That's, for me, that's the bread and butter. That's where you're really going to, because if you give yourself a number that's that high, you're going to push, and you're going to keep pushing. If you get to, say, 15, and you're starting to fail, do a drop set. Like, there's ways to intensify this machine. So if you're getting to, say, your program or what you had in your thought in your head is, I'm going to do 15. I'm doing 15 reps. Great. Well, you get to 12 and you can't do anymore. Get someone to take plates off. Take 2 off the side. Keep going. Now you're going for that 15 to 20 to 25. You don't get there? Fine. Strip more off. Keep going. Like, this is where the legs will take the punishment. Like, you can keep going as long as you're keeping with the parameters of what form that you're trying to stay with, be it normal, wide, or narrow. So that's where a lot of people kind of go astray. You need to really kind of get in that mindset where I'm going, and I'm going until my body says I can't. Point blank, end of story. Like, as long as your form is number one, you're not breaking form, you're pushing through intensity, pushing through the lactic acid burn, and you're going until you physically do any more with the longest range of motion that you physically can, you throw everything else out the window because you're done. So I'm trying to use something that most gyms will have, and most gyms honestly do have a hack squat. So I'm going to use this one. There is 2 different type of hack squats out at this modern era. There is one that is the conventional, what you see here, pads over top of shoulders. Then there's one that basically, it's more of a seat, so you're more upright and there's a pad behind my back. Same angle, everything's the same, but they're calling it a hack squat. So I'm going to show you the old school way, and I will show you the other version as well, just by using some pads. But so this is what we're going to do here. Again, when you put your feet on the pad, you got to put it in an angle that your heels are going to stay on it, and you're going to get full range. So if I come all the way down, so I'm as far down as I can go. Like, I'm physically hitting the stopper at the bottom. I can still move my toes. This is a good spot for me. And now I got to basically, again, go to the point where I'm turning my brain off. But in the squats, it's a little bit different, because if you fail, you're failing at the bottom than a leg press. So I would say do sets of 10 until you can't get 10. And that's the best kind of way to go around it. So all the way down, controlling the weight, all the way back up again. Big mistake is when people get into this, they'll come down and you'll see them shift. Toes will come up off. That's so much pressure on the knee right there. And there is other ways you can kind of ensure that you're doing it correctly. So things called static holds. So what you're going to do, keep your feet in the same spot, come down to 90 degrees and hold it there. And you'll feel your body want to shift. You stay here for 5 seconds, drop all the way down, all the way up. Come on down to 90, hold for 5, drop down, come all the way up. So that is going to teach you to stay on that heel. Because when you get down there, you're going to feel your body want to shift. It's going to want to go away from the heel. You got to fight it, and you got to stay there. So when you start to go to do just normal all the way down, all the way up, it's not that big of a deal. It's not that big of an issue. As I mentioned before, there is a new modern hack squat that they have a pad behind your back. So if you don't have that, you can basically take a pad, if your gym has them, and set it up underneath the shoulder pads like this. So you're going to get up in. Same foot placement, everything's the same. But now you're in this spot. You're in the exact same spot you were, but now you're just sitting up instead of weight on your spine. So anybody that has issues, has spinal column issues, sciatic nerve issues, stuff like that, this is a great way to kind of take that pressure off your spinal column when you are doing a conventional squat, but you're taking the pressure off that spine. So same thing, you're going to come down as far as you can, push. All right, so that is it for top 3 quad exercises. Hope you guys took some information from this today. Like I said, big thing with quads is they can take punishment. So this is when you take that intensity dial and you dial it right to number 10. So this is where you really kind of crank it out, up the volume, up the intensity, just go for it. Any other things you guys want me to kind of touch on, where this is the end of the top 3 series, I'd be happy to do so. And just drop it in the comments. Definitely hit that subscribe button, and be happy to bring the information to you guys.